See, record and transcribe. Let me make sure it's working here. Okay, so,
I'll put our chip bags. up
Recording.
here.
okay, so it is already recording. Okay, we are recording.
Just waiting for you to call the meeting to order. Okay, call a meeting to order for the City of Manistee Housing Commission. Special meeting. Going over, RAD, RFPs and stuff. And so I guess we start with a roll call.
Commissioner Schmidt.
Here.
Commissioner Taylor. Absent. Commissioner Pelton.
Here.
Commissioner Goodman.
Here.
President Fosdick.
Here. Now, first, Lori, you want to go over the 302 and 302.5 Fall Street?
Yes, so. If you recall, we decided we do want to do, instead of the vinyl sheathing and the carpet, we had both contractors go back and quote luxury vinyl planking. And we had them add on the register covers. So Adamczyk actually updated a few other things too. He didn't explain why really, but he increased some of his other items too. The one I do know about, I did tell him that I wanted to, when he dropped off the original quote, I said, now, you do know that includes the sheds. Did you look in the sheds when you were there? And he said, no. So I said, I can get you in the sheds if you want. And he said, no, I won't worry about it. But then he did add on another $800 for cleaning out debris that's there. And I did actually show him a picture when he dropped this one off. I said, I did actually look in the shed. This is what's in there. I showed him a picture of the Roger said shed is, or the one that just became vacant. That shed is empty. The other shed is full. And that's been vacant for, I think, over 2 years. The shed's still full of stuff and the apartment's still full of stuff. But anyways, so Mark was going to talk a little bit about, I did reach out to on the flooring because Adamczyk has it quoted at 17,000. And Griffiths actually came in at what, 11,000. I reached out
For the
to
flooring.
for just the flooring,
Yeah.
for luxury vinyl plank flooring. So I reached out. I had Jerome from Easy Living Flooring, the one that's just finished, the one on 10th Street where Heather's at.
Mhm.
They did that unit. And he came and looked at it and he quoted it.
$11,687. So the bottom line is to get right down to the chase. If Adamczyk agrees to let us substitute our flooring contractor, he's got 17,000. Our contractor is 11,687. The difference between the two bids then is 2,637. The Adamczyk is more by 2,637.
So we are not even looking at, AQC or, well, Serpro is definitely.
We talked at the last meeting just to requote the top two.
Okay.
So, and we can go back too. We could.
Yeah, we don't have to make a decision
My,
today.
my
if we don't
guess
want to.
is, Scott's bid probably has Packlin's putting the flooring in.
He's doing it himself, I believe.
Oh, really?
Really? The only thing with, when you have one contractor with another contractor, is sometimes, like who's doing the trim board and who's doing this and who's doing that.
Right, we would pull it right out of the bid. We would just
The
say, you're
floor.
not doing any flooring.
If he agrees to it, he'd have to agree to it.
Yeah, because, I've seen it where one blames the other.
Yeah.
For things not being completed.
Yeah. But we would take on that responsibility and as the
So-
owner.
So the $8,000 increase is mostly due to, well, 4,000 flooring, $2,500 in register covers. What the hell kind of register covers do we have?
Yeah, the other one was 1,200.
Is,
So he was twice as.
are
much
they
as the other.
replacing them or are they sanding them and painting them?
Replacing the register cover.
They're replacing.
This, and that's
Just the front or the top two?
Well, the
Already.
top, it's all one. piece.
It's all hot water heat, so it is
It's not all
expensive to
one piece.
replace this.
There's a front face.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is it the whole thing
Yeah,
or is it?
yes,
yeah.
Cause lots of times they just do the face.
That's the stuff that
Yeah.
happens all the time, the front of the
Yeah,
car.
that's a reasonable cost, really, to replace
That
that.
stuff is expensive.
Yeah. So really, the bottom line is there's a 20, if he doesn't accept the flooring, there's an $8,000 difference roughly. If we substitute the flooring guy, we knock that down and reduce it to about 2,600.
Well,
The,
who's Griffith's doing it for 5,500? For it.
He was doing it himself.
That's one side, Jenny. So you did basically double.
Both sides would be 10.
So-
Yeah, it's like 11. He's
Okay, so
he's close.
to the.
Yeah, he's close to what the
Okay.
other quote is.
Said both addresses on the. top,
And the
so-
10th Street, that flooring looked
Yeah.
beautiful.
So I mean, it's really the difference of that and where you want to go with it.
I would say, let's see how Scott reacts to having the flooring done, which he'd probably be relieved. I would imagine,
And if
because
he,
he's not a flooring
yeah,
person.
and if he agrees to that. I mean, if he doesn't, then that's another issue.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Well, let's go back, I talked with Lori a little bit when I went over there and looked at it here a couple days ago. And if we're gonna put $50,000. And then 3 years or at most 4 years from now, tear it down and replace it. Is it worth $50,000 to do that for a limited life,
But it's 25 on each side.
right?
I mean, I don't know what you've renovated lately, but you can't even do it.
Well, no, I'm not saying that they're unfair.
Yeah,
I'm saying that, is it a smart decision to do that?
yes.
And my wife says, well, of course it is, because you got 2 more people
Right,
under a roof.
Right.
right. And that's my thing. And in clean, affordable housing. And also, we don't know if it's gonna be done in 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's
That's-
the unknown, and that's part of going through this process.
I mean,
And if we have to apply for tax credits and do all that, you may be 3 years or 4 years
Well,
out.
And the part of the process, but also there's a process after that, because these places might be the last on the list,
Right.
They may be ones that you keep too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but that's another discussion. I mean,
We're not talking about siding or roofing or
No,
No,
everything's inside.
everything's inside.
Yeah.
We're not talking about, has someone checked the heating system out? Has someone checked the hot water?
The
system out?
boilers,
The
Very
boiler looks fairly new, like within the last 10 years.
I imagine our maintenance have gone through those things.
we still should have boiler inspections.
Yeah.
I think Custom Sheet Metal was doing boiler inspections on everything, right?
yeah, that particular unit did not receive a tune-up, but I have reached out and I actually have a meeting on Friday at 3, tomorrow at 3, to discuss getting that unit and energy analysis completed on it so that I can also receive 2 refrigerators and a tune-up there.
Cool.
Now, that's a 1-bedroom and a 2-bedroom unit, right?
They're both,
They're both ones.
one has a bathtub, one has a shower.
What's the minimum of rent we would get? For a 1-bedroom, the minimum, 484 or something?
Well,
I think you could
it's
use
because
500.
this is public housing, Jenny, so it's based on an operating subsidy calculation, so it's not like,
it's
Yeah.
30% of their income. Okay, here.
I know, but
and then we receive the.
What's the
operating
average?
subsidy.
yeah,
Probably 300. I think our average rent is somewhere between 250 and 3 in the public house.
Well, no, but you still do get public housing funds.
Yeah, to
over
bring
top
us
of
up
that.
whole. Yeah, operating subsidy.
So I'm saying you could probably use $500, Jimmy.
well, at $300, it's a $11,000 return on rent for 3 years. On just $300
So you
bucks.
pay off your construction.
Yeah, we pay up,
Well, and I'm not sure how that works when you start RAD conversion. If it's been, like, the one's been vacant for so many years and it's offline.
Well, if you use the RAD conversion numbers, you're probably somewhere around $600 that will get in a voucher. you know,
Oh, well.
subsidy. So
Well,
we use that
totally
number.
Pay for itself.
That one company here explained that quite well.
Yeah. Yes,
And I don't know, Mark, do you know how they look at it when your units have sat vacant?
I don't know. I mean,
It
But
may not
that's
look
why we need to
favorable
get it-
for us
we
if
need to
it's
get it
sitting
back
vacant
online.
for that long.
We need to get it back on.
It's unfavorable, you said?
I would think it'd be
Right.
unfavorable.
Yeah, we might lose that
We want-
unit.
yeah,
We want the numbers.
We want the housing because that's what I'm preaching to the choir out there is we went from 60 to 10. Please don't tell me there's no housing all those years when we had 60 units available.
Well, I think it was 67.
Okay,
and I
for
don't
the
know,
recording.
we kept the unit vacant, one's vacant intentionally because of the tenant.
Right,
In there.
we understand.
And I think he was in there 10 years, 8 years.
I don't
something.
know.
I don't know the,
17,
17.
Mr. Grabowski could tell us exactly.
it's
But-
17.
But if you just go back and the money we should have spent in there, this is minuscule over the years. It's a big number now, but 25 aside,
I think that's.
I,
It's a good investment. It's a good,
It's a good community.
yeah, it's a good place to.
In the
to-
capital fund,
we have the money to do it.
Well, it's good also just, that's one of the major entries to Manistee. And everyone knows it's housing commission. And so if it's fixed up and looks better, it's a better representation for the whole community.
Yeah.
And then we're housing people.
12th Street is amazing.
It's a major going into the
it's a
school.
major
It's
road.
busy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They repaved the road. The road
You go
looks
to the-
great.
Cherry Road, you go to Maple on that,
It's a major.
especially now that the bridge is out.
You can't get to show your roads for 12th.
Well, there was discussions by the city to bring it through. There's
Yeah.
everything set to bring it. on
The city
the
wants
street
school to
through.
do it, school wants the city to do it.
There's also a marsh right in the middle, so
Yeah.
I doubt if any.
But anyway, it is a major
Picked up those smoke detectors.
Yeah.
visual entrance to our community.
I agree.
I support going back to Scott, asking if he has any problem with having a flooring person do the flooring when they're ready.
Our own contractor.
Our own contractor and see what he says, and then can we vote on that by email?
No,
you just
we
authorize right now.
I mean, if you authorize us,
Did we authorize you? Okay, so we don't have to come back to it.
No.
No, okay,
You
let's,
get it done.
if you just by motion authorize us to negotiate with him, and if we're not successful, then award it to the second
okay.
bidder. I think that's
That's my
the motion.
motion.
Do I have a second?
Just like-
All in favor?
Who made that
Opposed?
motion?
Ginny,
I did.
and did Jim
Jim.
support that?
Right. Motion carried. And just for a point, I wasn't against doing it. I just wanted everyone to realize that, because if you look around when you're over there on 12th Street, the houses around our houses are really nice houses.
I sell them every day. I know. That's why it's
Well-
important to make this look better.
Well, but we're not gonna make it look better until we replace them or do something different on the outside. We're not doing anything on the outside.
I know, but it's,
Cleaning it up. We're
As
gonna
I said,
do some
yeah.
Well,
changes.
but it is gonna look better because the debris is gonna be out of the yard. It's gonna be mowed. It's gonna be
Yeah.
maintained and,
It'd be nice if they put grass in.
yeah, and we'll touch up any painting on the outside.
but we can't just
It
wait
could be
for
print.
3 years to maybe do something.
I understand that.
And then we will only have one
And I was just
offline.
making that point,
No, I know,
is I'm not against it.
I know.
And I would love to get that 1717 vine going too, but
Me too. I could get that.
that would
going.
be the last,
I could get that.
that would be the only one offline.
Which one?
Vine Street.
1717 vine, if we go through with it, well, after we go through with it.
I don't think we have enough money to, but you could, that would be the first one replaced.
We don't know that though, because of how they would lay out replacement for, transitioning. I think,
But have you been in that?
yes, of course,
Okay.
I got to go in with the former director
Ooh,
when all the electricity was still on and the heat was on and everything was still on.
So food for thought, think about once we get this one completed, if you do want me to get proposals on that one.
Yeah. I'd like to go in it again, actually,
Which
sometime.
one is that one? The one that,
1717
that's been
vine,
vacant?
the one
four
that
bedroom.
goes like this.
Yeah. But I think we can do it though. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a matter of, do we want to do it?
Isn't it a 3-2 or is it
It's a 4,
4-2? Or
Four
one?
bedroom.
4-1.
just, it's one,
But there's,
it's one,
And
No, one bathroom
oh, yes,
or one.
yep. I thought you
And
meant it like a
the bedrooms are
duplex.
about twice the size, one or two are about twice the size of the bathroom. They're pretty small.
That's okay.
But it would support a family with
Yeah,
children.
support a family.
you know, there's been a lot of public dialogue about this unit. The,
Wall Street?
we got city council member that lives across the street from it that had a contentious relationship with the previous occupant. The chief of police has told people it needs to be torn down beyond repair, so good people that have nothing to do with public housing out there making their declarations and kind of painting the picture.
Well, I think some of that was beyond frustration, and, for Mr. Grabowski across the street, he has endured some many years of harassment and stuff, so I understood his annoyance with it. The chief, again, a lot of annoyance, so I think that, if we take the initiative, like you're saying, as public housing to say, we're gonna fix this, we're gonna make it better. We are
And make
going
it
to
inhabitable for,
be in this neighborhood. Yeah, we're gonna try to improve and add to the neighborhood instead of deter from it. I think that everybody would be okay. Again, the outdoors, I hate those units. I think they're very institutional, just terrible looking.
Yeah.
But,
They're
we'll
working.
get by. Yes, we'll get by and,
But think about a new roof and siding and some shutters on the windows. They could be really dressed up.
Yep,
Really nice.
yep.
And that could be done in a conversion, we start going down there. But
incrementally.
yeah,
Yes,
we can talk about that.
And I think one of the bigger issues is how do we get to a point of this much damage and this much need for refurbishment between tenants?
It's inspections,
It's
sales.
having, the-
It's management. It's back to,
When I got on this, it was like hands off. There was nothing, anybody would come and complain about something not working. They would be a complainer. They wouldn't be, taken seriously. These type of situations that grew and grew and grew and got out of control was because nobody was willing to do anything. Management wise. Now Lori and Mark are so invested in and you're all over the place. at
Well, I
all these
would
places.
love to be able to do 6-month inspections on every unit.
yeah.
Cause then you're making sure the maintenance is kept up, you're
Yeah.
making sure that
You do a walkthrough after maintenance confirms that the repair is done.
no, they turn a work order in saying it's done, but then I would catch it on the next inspection.
Right,
yeah.
So I'm gonna try and do them 6 months from
And-
the initial.
And then are the residents probably would let you know if it wasn't done to their satisfaction.
That's, I
Maybe
think
yes,
it's gonna
maybe no.
change, yeah. I think it's part of trusting us
Yeah.
again. Because truly, a lot of times the complaints that were filed and people were trying to say stuff, they really got shot down.
Yeah.
I think there's 30 people happy right now that received the refrigerator, so at least they
Yeah.
see that we're trying, and then we
Right.
came through and tuned up most of the boilers and furnaces, so we're making sure they have, proper heat, and we fixed their roof.
Good.
And
We should actually put a news release.
yeah, we should do a news release about that.
Yeah,
Hey, Jim, can I just say this? So I think it was a concerted effort to keep things in a condition to justify
Brad,
a direction, which is flawed thinking in my part, because we have a fiduciary responsibility to maintain things. We've been funded to maintain things. But our plan didn't include addressing those issues, and we should have been maintaining all those all along. So, I mean, it bears back onto the commission and the management why we're at the point that we are.
I think you mentioned before, they were long on spending for technology in
Oh, yeah.
computers and equipment,
Yeah.
but very short on spending for any capital.
Physical
improvement.
improvements, yep.
Well, and at one meeting, I can remember Kevin telling us that if it was over $5,000 in damages to fix an apartment up, they just took it offline.
shut it down.
Well, like the mold one, it's a good example. It wasn't even bad. We kept it for 2 years.
And they weren't even on the other side either.
Yeah.
On that side, didn't even have.
That was such a quick and easy fix, but I mean,
All those years that it's like.
we're in the people business. We're in the business to house people, not to not house people and keep vacant buildings.
As we evolve, and, you know, I don't know, was it a year that I was like constantly saying, how can you have a 15-minute meeting on a multi-million-dollar organization, you know? So we knew it was off the rails a long time ago. I feel that as if I'm really proud about this group and our leadership, and it's like we're on the right track. But I would also like us to have enough vision to also be able to promote independence for people that are in our system. You know, the next step, what can we offer?
Well, when we get
Helps
into
them to skill build.
this rad
Yes,
discussion, there's some things I wanna touch on there
Okay.
that I
Yeah.
kind of reached out to see about doing missing middle type things and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do it, let's do it right.
do it
Yeah.
right, right.
Well,
And don't stop there. I mean, we should be leaders,
Yeah.
not like
And they,
tagging along for everybody. Yeah, we should be leaders. Everybody in this community knows that housing is important. Well, let's,
well, we're the agency that's designed to do housing.
Yes,
So I always say that
exactly.
we have the tools, we have the legislative tools, the legal tools to do it. So, and I was talking to Karen before, I don't want to get off the rails because I think this other stuff's important, but I mean, Karen was at the governor's speech. I mean, she's talking about 10,000 more units. But we need to be prepared as a community. So I think it's a good intro to the city leaders and the county leaders that we need the infrastructure. Like, and I'd love for you to come to Big Rapids. We built 5 houses with 3 purchase agreements already. They're not even done. And this missing middle. So I mean, there's like a $50,000 development subsidy. So these people are getting,
You've been building those 5 houses for years now. When the hell are you gonna get done with them?
they started in October. So-
paperwork prior to that.
Well, yeah, I mean, the city spent $1 million. They bonded for $1 million. We had the property. I was telling, I think Jim, we've been out acquiring property. We had like 40 acres ready for development. So they recognized the need. So the city spent $1 million in infrastructure, knowing that in 15 or 20 years, the tax base is going to be substantial. That's that's kind of the team mentality that
Whittier
we.
has 55 acres with all the infrastructure. in
Well,
it.
I think that's like our vision. So when we talked about,
Down Cherry Road?
Nope.
so anyway, I don't want to get out of that, but we,
Just quickly, actually, after you mentioned that, I'm gonna be in Big Rapids in our affairs is.
we should have, they signed the 3rd purchase agreement yesterday. So I left in we got started building. So,
Oh.
but Linda's doing a good job taking over.
Sure, they'll invite you to the ribbon. cutting.
yeah. I did the groundbreaking.
Yeah.
That was like
Okay,
a few
so we're
days.
all done
Yep.
with,
I'm never done with that, so. let's-
Fall Street and
Work
we're moving
session.
into the rad.
So I gave you, Steve did an analysis. I gave you an analysis too. Just,
I didn't know.
The one with the.
Yeah.
Or with the Staples.
Steve.
I
And
think
it's not an
I,
analysis, just things that I noticed.
yeah.
And I'm thinking, what the heck? We asked them for a total price, they give us $1 per hour.
Yeah, and that's, Steve and I kind of did the same thing you did. I went down, they all met the RFP requirements 1 through 7. So that's the first thing
No,
I
they did.
did.
One I found that didn't was CSG Advisors
Well, on phase 2.
on
Yeah.
phase 2. And what they did was they saw the A and B on the one page and they flipped it over and missed it. So we're gonna have to make sure that it includes that.
So do you just want to go in order?
Well, yeah, they're not in order on both pages.
No. So,
So take one and go in that order.
Okay, so let's start with yours with LIHTC.
yeah, I just did it.
LIHT, that would be,
So unsure of company, I found they're from New Jersey on their website, but nowhere in their proposal does it say where they're from.
I know, I couldn't find it either.
They're really developers. They're not really rad consultants. So
We cross them off right off.
Well, you see on my comments, I got no developer.
Yeah.
Well, let's make it easy and just.
So I think they're more on the development side. So they say that we have we're a developer, we have our architects, we have our contractors, which would be eerily similar to what the last process that we went through.
I wonder, I got to thinking, I think I even dreamed about it, that, who was the old consultant that was when Clinton was here?
EJP,
Yeah, I wonder if Common, well, worked for EJP.
I don't think so, Steve.
Kind of like this, the LITHC Development Group, I got it was just like a loose collection of a bunch of little consultants. And they just say, hey, there's money here, let's consult with each other.
Well, the one concern that I had is who's this LDG partner they keep talking about? Nowhere did it explain
Well,
who that was.
LDG is the LITEC Development Group.
But it said they keep referring to their affiliate group, if you look in their proposal, right?
So it's probably another Commonwealth thing, maybe.
I don't know. And I just was confused by
I
that.
think,
Yes.
I think we
Yeah.
can take that.
Let's just take it off the table. One,
Okay, so. So then the next is Affordable Housing Forward LLC,
Is that what AH means?
AHF, Affordable Housing Forward, yeah. So they're a relatively new company. They mentioned ERLAB, well, they're a fee accountant, just like our fee accountants in Wisconsin. So, and I think, were they the ones that had that Greg Byrne listed
Yes.
as their, he was a HUD guy.
And
So-
I would love to have him. But the rest of the company, I was a little,
So he's like a lot of people in the government world, they go out and be consultants after they
Yep.
retire.
or
But he-
lobbyists.
yeah, he actually grew up with the RAD.
Yeah.
He was instrumental in making the RAD provisions.
Well, when I went through it, I mean, I educationally, there was a lot here.
Yep.
That I found very interesting. I liked their proposal. I mean, I kind of went through all their, their key members and their backgrounds and stuff. And you're right, there's a lot of going out and educating others sometimes. That lessens your ability to do. But I really liked the layout on how they won their timeframes, but also kind of find it here. Some of their options that they were going through, to me, were just fascinating. Now, again, you've worked in this field. I have not, done this type of stuff as much before, but, different options I thought were a fascinating idea.
Well, the red flags to me with AH Forward was that Moon Tran, who supposedly is going to be the project leader,
Mhm.
is based in Washington DC. And yet AH Forward is based in Ada, Oklahoma.
Are they tribal?
No, and what's based in Ada, Oklahoma is the CPA.
Yeah, the ERLAB.
Oh.
Yeah, they're a reputable company too, by the way.
I got down that they're very HUD intensive, but low income tax credit light. I also said they're newbies. Projects are based from 2021 to present. They don't have any history prior to 2021.
But that's getting hot.
And that they're a small firm and there appear to be a lot of partnerships involved here. One, the CPA is in Oklahoma. One of their consultants is based somewhere else, and then this Moon Tran, she is based in Washington DC. But I was quite impressed with the way they went about things.
Yeah, I think they understand the RAD
Oh, yeah,
process.
yeah.
But they're not that old. They're only 3 years old.
Well, collectively, the experience is deeper
Right.
than that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it also seemed that
Think about the sun.
anytime they did, it was amazing. When you asked for references, everyone referenced Detroit Public Housing.
I know, I
It's
saw
like-
that too.
How many consultants has Detroit hired,
A
But-
lot.
But AH Forward's total experience has been in huge projects, New York City, Detroit. Large cities, 2,000 to 3,000 units. And I'm thinking, we might get lost in the shuffle with this company. What everyone else think of age forward. I like the name Moon Tran.
That's why I thought maybe it was tribal.
I said, I liked their creativity. I liked that they were thinking out of the box. I thought they were very detailed oriented. You know. Things I didn't think about, things I didn't know, it was great to read this. Actually, I read this one first, before I got to the other one, so I had a better understanding.
Spent more time with it, didn't you?
Well, it's like it educated me towards the other ones. It's like, well, why isn't that in here? Kind of thing. So I didn't mind them. I thought they were pretty good. I do like that people work with Detroit housing. I preferred it to look at people who have been in Michigan,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
When they have no experience working in Michigan, I get concerned.
The other thing that
That's kind of why I liked Baker Tilly, but
age forward did that I didn't like was we asked for a total of what you were gonna charge us to do this consultation phase 1 and phase 2. And they answered it with $160 an hour.
no, 16.50 an hour.
Wow, that's unfair.
That's there's a back in the back.
Oh.
I just noticed that I'm thinking, huh? I got a new keyboard and every time I just brush it, it's.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
I saw it on
$160 an hour.
the-
Which, I appreciate that too. It's like, so even on an hourly basis, we possibly could control some of that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't have a problem with that kind of money for a consultant, but
That is by far the cheapest per hour basis of anyone in this group of 4.
are we gonna narrow it down to 2 and then talk to them?
Well,
Specific.
I
What are you doing?
That's gonna be my thoughts. I mean, we can interview everybody. Or could we narrow it down today? It's your preference. And
I would hope so, but
I mean, I would hope we could get it down to 2, but if it's 3, that's okay too.
well, we're down to 3 right now. I think.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay. Well, let's keep them on the yes list for now.
What 3 are we looking?
Age forward, TSG advisors and Baker Tilly. We have. said that
Baker Tilly, Mark's got firsthand experience with them.
Right,
Mhm.
I don't want to bias your decision either, though, so I wanna,
we've taken LDG, that Light Tech
Yeah.
Development Group out.
Yeah.
Because they're basically a developer.
Yeah.
We don't want our consultant to be chief cook and bottle washer, like. We just.
Yeah, I
want
like
to
the
do it.
experience.
we wanna pick our developer, our architect, our builder, our everything if we go through this project. We wanna be in every conversation and not just take a package from somebody.
We want to almost be the general. The
Yeah.
general contractor.
Yeah, we will be involved. I mean, highly involved. So, all
If
right,
they don't do things the right way, we might need to take a few of them fishing.
yeah. So Baker Tilly, I have to tell you this, I met with them this morning on a different project and, we're already talking about tax credit applications and that sort of stuff on the Everett project, but I mean, I would just say from my experience, they've been top notch. So haven't had any bad experiences with them. Their fee structure is almost identical to what they proposed to us a year ago.
Well, I didn't understand in Baker Tilly, the phase 1 cost, which I thought was fairly inexpensive compared to the rest of them. But when phase 2, they talked about $100,000 per transaction.
I don't know what that
What
means.
does that mean?
I don't know what that means. I think that's a good question for them.
And they apparently have been in Michigan for quite some time,
Yeah, they have the experience.
but in the last 5 years, they've only been in Flint, Inkster, and Everett.
I think for me, some of the parallel of being in Everett, again, small community, small projects. And
Well, that was the biggest hit that I had, right?
yeah,
Now, the question is, are they large enough to be able to think outside the box, but age forward?
right. And once we start talking and interviewing, we can ask those questions.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know.
absolutely.
Prompting that.
So, and we're doing 109 units in Everett. And I think we're talking about 48, but then the next step is, do we want to develop? So, and we're going down that road right now too.
And the other thing that I liked about Baker Tilly was all their consultants are employees. They're not pulling consultants out here and out here. They're all part of the team.
They didn't even get offended when I wore my Michigan shirt when they had their Wisconsin stuff in the background. So
The only thing that scares me is it's another Wisconsin company.
Yeah. Yeah. they have no relationship with Commonwealth, by the way.
Oh, that's good.
I asked that question. They've never worked with them.
Did they know of them?
Yes. Yes. So,
And I like the fact that they do work with a lot of small PHAs. But I would want to really clear that up. That, $100,000 per print.
Yeah.
Per transaction.
You know, it's like, I thought this was well done. It
Mhm.
kind of was a less technical. If that sounds,
Right.
but it seems less
it- it-
technical
it-
with more
It
information.
was more homey.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like, oh, yeah, I get that. I understand that. I didn't have to have my, background in housing development.
They didn't use the acronyms like everyone, else. Well, that's an FCG, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, on the one, I had to have my computer on the Google to say, okay, what is it? PHA? What is that?
Yeah.
that's the hardest thing for new people, new board members, is to deal with all these acronyms too. It's a different animal.
Well, I know what a PBRA is now.
Yeah.
And a
Project-based.
TBRA.
Project. And just so you know, down that project, that RAD conversion, there's a whole different, and you saw that variations on.
Right.
And it depends on which path you choose. Some of them just slightly different, but some mean more revenue coming into the project and
Right.
what you're eligible for too.
And that's the calculations that this other group did, this BFG, had in their proposal that I kind of went, ooh. I mean, it's revenue.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
The one
but
thing,
I'm sure this could do it too.
Mhm. The one thing I wanted to ask, are we gonna be hurt by our, first RAD conversion? And with HUD as far as those points?
I don't think so. I think we're good with HUD.
And or, well, actually, it's not gonna be HUD per se, it's.
Well,
gonna
they
be
haven't let it
Michta.
file, John.
It's gonna be Michta.
Right, so we're trying to get everything.
Well,
before-
no, there's two, Steve, because project-based rental assistance comes from HUD multifamily.
Oh, that's
So-
right, okay.
So, and then the tax credit's a separate deal, so we get audited by both firms, both agencies. So, yeah, we have two different reporting bodies.
Oh, I did wanna ask on a 9%. Low income tax credit. It's my understanding that if you have. $1 million project. With a 9% tax credit. You get 9% of that you get 9% of income off it every year. For the next 10 years, is that what it is? Or it all comes as a lump sum to us?
It comes as a lump sum. The investors get to take the credit for 12 years. 10 years, when there's a couple carryover periods. So the way tax credits work is, so let's say,
So who is taking the 9% every year then?
no, that's a fallacy, Steve. 9% means it's an eligible basis. So you determine what your basis is. Construction costs, hard costs, it's a whole formula.
Yeah, no soft costs.
No soft costs, or some soft costs are in there.
Okay.
So let's say you have a $10 million project. And so you might say, I want we'll get 9% of that a year. So what is that? That's 900,000, right? So we'll get awarded, if we have a $10 million project, we'll get awarded 9% of the credits, or $900,000 in credits to sell to an investor every year. That's where the 9%, it's a
Oh.
formula base. This isn't exactly how it works, but it's kind of in a nutshell.
Okay.
So investors like Scenair are gonna come in and they're gonna bring in this great big pool. So General Motors, US Bank, they said, we want to buy tax credits because we need a reduction in our
people
income
need 'em.
tax. I mean, it's a tax credit. These big corporations get to take a tax credit. So out of that 900,000, let's say is 9%, they're gonna pay us 85 cents on the dollar. So we're gonna generate maybe 800,000. So there's gonna be a gap in there somewhere. We have to figure out probably some permanent debt. So then that 800,000 times 10, which is 8 million, is gonna come into the project based on a schedule of milestones. You know, construction, the first closing draw,
But it's upfront, it's all upfront.
it's all upfront.
And they're going to then sell the credit.
They're
That's why
called,
they're taking 15%.
they're called a syndicator. So they're managing these investors' money. That's why our development agreement or our agreement is with Scenair. We're part of Commonwealth, who is now a partner with Scenair. So they're the limited partner, we're the general partner. They only own 0.00. We own 0.001%. They own 99.99%. So the investors can
Scenario.
take the credits. It's just the way the development world works. That's the only game in town. So
And then a 4%,
same calculation, Steve. 4% will never do a new development deal, but it can do a rehab deal.
but you don't get near as much money back on a 4%.
No, it's 4% of basis versus 9%, but it's not competitive. 9% is highly competitive. You got to compete for that.
Well, because, yeah,
I mean, we're competing against all the developers, private sector. We're competing now with other housing commissions that are doing RAD. So, in fact, we were talking about our Everett South score because we think our project's gonna score very high to do this RAD conversion and new development, so. So I think the good news is I'm going through it too right now, so we
Yeah.
can, I think it kind of is
yeah.
a good learning curve for all of
Make
us.
sure you trip there and not here.
Trip. So anyway, CSG advisors, I emailed Sharon from Marquette Housing Commission. She had a very good experience with it.
On,
That was a total rehab, not a,
Just a rehab, no new development.
no new development.
the one thing I had on CSG advisors is they're based out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Yep.
And yet Nicole Graham, who supposedly says that she's going to be the project leader, she lives in San Francisco, California. They are a extremely large firm that deals with extremely large PHAs. I think somewhere in their brochures, they lay claim to 40% of all the RAD conversions done in the United States. They've done
40%?
40% that one. But when you have clients like New York City and Detroit, where they have 10,000 units, it doesn't take much to have 40% of the units. I was really impressed with them, but again, I'm feeling like a little fish in a big pond here.
Well, they might not get the attention that.
And again, their fees are $225 an hour to $295, but their costs for phase one was 20,000, phase two, 30,000. And then they had this transaction. I don't know what a transaction fee is.
I think it's when you close on the RAD. If they take you through the closing process, I think that's what a transaction fee is, but I think that's a good,
So they're saying 75,000, they'll get us through a red closing?
I think it was 20,000, an estimate of 20,000 based on their hourly rate. But you
Oh,
know,
it wasn't fixed, it was an estimate.
no, it's an estimate, that's their estimate. Yeah, and you see their current and past clients. And I didn't see Marquette listed on here, but
It's in a state, it's in kind of,
It's in the back.
yeah, it is, but it's not on this page.
it's not
right.
like, it's, he has a statement about it, or they have a statement about it.
Red with 4%, red with 9%. I think they're definitely qualified.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah,
I was really
Marquette
impressed
is
with
in
them, but
there,
I'm
yeah.
thinking that we might be too small of a project. I
And
guess we can ask them.
how many, these are what we got back for, right? And
Yep.
they are honestly all interested, or they're like,
Well, I think they're, by them responding, Jenny, I think they're interested. I mean, I do. I don't think they would, I mean, EJP didn't respond to us. So, so there are people that didn't respond. There's a couple that didn't respond, I think.
Mhm.
Well, I think the rad conversions and stuff like that right now, since interest rates went from 2% and 3% to 6% and 7%, everyone kind of lost interest.
yeah, but that was.
And I think
that was a
everybody put
blip.
their rad conversions on the back burner.
Yeah, but we didn't, this rad conversion wasn't done at those interest rates. That was just a flip. I mean, that wasn't even a reality.
This red conversion was done from cold. It was tough time, material shortage. It was a bad,
Yeah, it was.
difficult time.
And I got caught in the wave.
So
Monsoon.
Marquette started in 18, and I remember her talking about this at a conference that I went to. I mean, but it was just simply converting their 257 over to rad. No new construction.
And that took, when did it get completed? I don't
I
remember.
think 18 to 20, so
Oh.
3 years.
Yeah.
That's about right.
I
Yeah.
would think.
I mean, if we can squeeze new development in, it may push those time frames, but. And I can share with you the stuff that we're doing. We just were going over time frames. In this October, we're gonna be prepared to do an October tax credit application in Everett.
What are you selling those houses? Are they 3-2s? They're family homes,
Yeah, 3 bedrooms.
2 baths?
Yep.
And what are you selling them for?
I think with the development subsidy, we're in the low 200s.
Which is a real nest, and they get $50,000 down?
Yeah, and it's theirs if they stay there for 5 years.
That's
What do you mean it's theirs?
They keep,
It
so
becomes a
Reverts
grant.
to
it
there.
Forgiven.
becomes forgiven. If the down payment becomes forgiven.
Oh, okay, the
Yeah.
down payment, not, like, what do you mean? Like.
That's that missing middle program.
Yeah, the.
So if they
mortgage.
sold it after a year, they would need to pay back.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how
Right.
that was set up over here originally.
Yeah.
At St. Mary's Parkway, didn't end up working very well over there, but
Frankfurt's doing the same.
Yeah.
yeah.
So Karen, if you're gonna be in town, I'll set up a time, because I want to go through them too. Anyway, I think there's 3 we could interview here. Do you want to interview 3?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
In all honesty, CSG seems pretty good and stuff, but it's like definitely.
I mean, I
Baker
really like
Tilly.
Baker Tilly because you've worked with them, but the other two.
And again, this AHF, it's just, maybe I'm just impressed because I learned so much from them, but, that might be what's driving.
Well,
okay,
they're happy with CPA experience.
so. Okay,
Now,
I think we do a Zoom, we set up, we say, we want you to zoom in at, so this will we should give them at least like a half an hour each by time. I mean, I don't want to say 15 minutes and then have it scheduled every half an hour and then we have questions and it runs over and we have people wanting to zoom in and. So how would you like to do it at a regular meeting or should we have a special meeting? Or should we just set up a Zoom meeting where we don't even have to come in?
yes,
But then, does it have to be a public meeting then too?
does it,
Zoom link in a public statement.
does it have? to be
Oh,
a public
This is
meeting?
If you're all
special-
together.
This is a special meeting, but it's not we're not gonna be voting or anything. so
no, it's not it's more of a work session
Yeah.
type thing.
So that doesn't have to be on site.
That doesn't have to be public.
It would be easier because if we need to go somewhere with a screen then and to try to set up.
I'll
Laptop,
have that for you.
okay,
We have a building that tells us and we could do all that. We also, the city,
Yeah.
I know they would allow.
how would you
Probably
guys like
anybody
to
who
do
would
it?
attend.
Yeah, how would you like to do it? That's, I guess, the question.
I would say it would be good to invite the city manager and maybe council if they want to
Yeah.
come and just, they don't get to vote, but they could be
With
informed.
stuff too.
Yeah, and we don't need to rush in, so I don't think this is part of our February meeting, but do it in February and see if we can set up, we can throw out times to all of them. And maybe do it in the council chambers, because
It'd be good.
we have a big screen there. They can see us, we can see them. They may want to show their presentation.
I don't think as long as there isn't a vote taken, that it has to be a public meeting.
If there's.
I think if we're together, Steve, we have either, it's gotta be a it's gotta be open to the public.
Is the 15th our next meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Cause you know, what? So prior to us, I had all the meetings set up with the prior schedule. So like I have, in a month, I have all these housing commission meetings. I'm like, I know we don't have that many
February
meetings.
15th.
I mean, we got a lot of meetings, but
Oh, no, I think.
yeah,
14.
I'm gonna speak that one. Can you send me, all the meetings for the year,
Sure.
please?
Third Thursday.
Is it, we don't make it a,
It's always the third
it's gonna
Thursday.
always be the third Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay,
Until we say it's always gonna
well,
be.
because you know, he switched it to the,
Yeah,
That's,
we did jump
our
around.
bylaws are all set and it's always the
okay,
third.
we jumped around time wise, morning, day,
Yeah, so we kind of been holding.
In
steady.
February, we'll meet right here.
oh, February here.
Well.
Well,
you know,
Valentine's Day, we're meeting, right?
Well,
Or
it's
day after,
Thursday.
Day after.
day after, okay.
If it's gonna be a Zoom, we can open it up to the public via a Zoom link.
All you have to do is, post that link
Mhm.
and then they can zoom in on.
Yeah. So would you rather just do it? So you can just dial in?
Yeah.
And be, instead of getting together. I mean, it's up to you guys. We have no preference.
That, I hear things from you and I'm learning and then I'm like, oh, that triggers this question. Sometimes you lose that in the Zoom process.
You do, you
Yeah.
definitely do.
So at the city chambers?
Yeah, if we could, and then.
But I think it's way too early to bring the city into this until we know what we're doing.
You want to see, you don't want them for the interviews?
If they wanna come, they
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
You know,
We'll just offer it.
yeah, we're looking at a consultant to see what we might possibly be able to do.
That's right, exactly. That's
And
exactly.
we don't know that we're gonna replace them, or we're gonna put new roofs on them, or that we're going to put 100 units in or 10 units. We don't know any of that.
Yeah, it's just an analysis. The phase one is an analysis of,
But we really pushed a transparency, so to keep that transparency, the city could just tell them that's what we're doing. It's up to them.
we will send a note to Bill and
But we have a annual report to the city in April.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we can have somewhat where they've got the analysis started, and we can say, we're looking at
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And then ask the city to get involved at that point.
Questions that, they can, so they have something to
Right.
actually ask questions about.
okay, so we're gonna set up a time.
Okay.
So leave it up to, we'll probably try to do it after this next meeting, probably towards the end of February, early March. Is that okay?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, March 6th to the 11th, I'm in Seattle. So
We'll try to do it at the end of February.
Yeah. and I'm just gonna
Hey,
say-
do you want to pick a date right now and say this, you guys, they'll have to meet our schedule. I'm not gonna ask them for a schedule.
Right,
So
right,
you,
right.
you meet our schedule.
That's the test number one.
Yeah, yeah, right.
That's true. That's true.
So later in February or
How
something,
about, what's the last Thursday in February?
29,
Oh, leap year day.
yeah.
That's a good
Um,
day. Everybody's got an extra day this
Will
year. We
this
might
be-
as well.
Will this be 9 o'clock? Because we're looking at different time zones for these people.
Oh, yeah, one's in San Francisco.
Yeah, we probably can't do 9 o'clock. So,
No, I don't think we could do 9. I'm just,
Probably 1 o'clock in the afternoon type thing.
I'll just work the rest of my schedule around that.
Schedule that.
Even,
What about like
I'll see if I
10 or
can change
11?
that. I'll see if I can change it.
no, if we're talking California,
Mm,
they're
3
3
hours.
hours
3 hours.
behind, so.
Right.
we could do a noon, or, I mean,
Noon?
we probably wouldn't bring lunch into the
No,
council
no,
chamber.
that-
We're gonna do all four at the same, on the same
3.
day.
3, I think you do,
Okay.
right? I
Yeah.
think we do 3 in a row.
And I think prior to the meeting, we get together to say, this is what we want to know from this guy. And
Well, we're on the 15th. We can cover that on the 15th, right?
Mhm.
But I.
So let's look at the, does that date work for everybody?
Yeah, just time wise, I'll just schedule, I have a couple of closings that day, so I'll just schedule. So you're saying noon? No, but you have a 1 o'clock.
I'll see if I can change it.
Oh, That's important.
Yeah, it is. Government.
Yeah.
I like that though, February 29th. That's a good
Okay.
day.
We'll have that meeting date for at least another 4 years.
That's right. It's once every 4 years. So
We should do afternoon, then we go out for drinks after. Oh, did I say that?
we could do it you want to do it at 3? You want to do it at 3?
Yes, let's do it at 3.
Okay,
Well, then we've given those people,
Yeah.
time.
So we'll go do 3, 3:30 and 4. So we'll try to go 3:30 and then 4. So we'll be an hour and a half. And then that's good to limit it to. So you only have this much time. You can't go 45
Right,
minutes. You
right.
can't go an hour. We're interviewing the next person and we really only give them 20 minutes or
Yeah.
25 minutes.
I was gonna say, if you're gonna give them 30 minutes, then let's put a 10-minute buffer between that.
And we will send out a separate Zoom invite to
Okay.
each of them so that nobody else can come in on their meeting. Does that sound okay?
That's all.
Okay. So can we
So
just
we're
talk?
just gonna have one person ask the questions? Are we gonna develop our questions at the next meeting?
I think we can do that
Yeah.
next meeting.
Because
and
it's
then,
too much when too many people are
Yeah.
asking.
Right,
If we have a format of questions.
Yeah, for
then we
each one,
can-
the same questions for each
Yeah.
one.
But then we can kind of have different people asking those.
Right.
So
yeah.
I think first of all, we want a 5 to 10 minute presentation,
Mhm.
and then we want 10 or 15 minutes for questions.
Yeah, and we'll have the same questions for each
Yeah.
consultant.
Correct.
not necessarily. Like,
Well, that's fair.
It will morph into more it might morph, but the same questions and we may morph.
because I
into-
wanna
Because
know
Steve has
what
some specific
100,000
questions, and-
he is.
I know, but we need to have the base, we could ask all of them, do you have a transition fee? Or transit, whatever.
Transaction.
Right, the trend.
So, but I think when it comes down to doing equal, you gotta have at least the base same questions for each person.
It's kind of like a job interview.
Job
We kinda
interview,
do
it's
this.
an interview. Yeah.
But then it always morphs off into,
Yeah,
We can ask.
a
about
subset
fees.
of questions.
Fishing and hunting. and-
Yeah.
all
What's
right,
the,
let's keep going.
okay,
I think we have another meeting after this meeting.
yeah, we have to, and then we have a 2 o'clock staff meeting too, so.
And the other thing too is when we talk to them, and I don't know when we should bring this up, but we might look at what it's gonna be to more than just more than just replacing the 47 scattered sites or doing something with them and getting into like some senior housing. With the COA, I think they would be amenable to that. Because I don't think that they've got the,
They don't have the back.
My secondary. sheet.
Yeah.
and even looking at some missing middle workforce housing.
I think that project out at the old Kennedy is supposed to be the missing.
Yeah,
middle.
they won't be involved in that. That'll be something we'll tackle, Steve. These consultants won't, that's not part of RAD.
We'll have to develop a plan.
So we can't add them together with the.
No, that had nothing to do with RAD or tax credits. That's something that we would
It's
tackle.
almost like having to put together a strategic plan
Yeah.
so that we have a roadmap
Yeah.
to go. from. I mean, that would be the best route to go, but
So, and if you see, we have an annual report, and I just wanted to start fleshing out a presentation to the city. I want to make sure it's thoughtful and not just go up there and say, we did this, we did this, we did this, but I want you guys to add whatever you want in there. And we'll put together a slideshow. We want to put some pictures in there. The big thing that I think though is exactly what you just said is the bottom line is, I think we should have a joint meeting with the city council and request that at this meeting and say, we want to strategically talk about housing. And, we want to know, we want to do a RAD program. Do you want us, would you support new development in that process? I think we need to know all this stuff before we start going down RAD
Right.
roads too, because I know what happened last time.
Right.
And it didn't go very well. I mean, I don't know details, but that's stuff we have to avoid. We all need to be on the
One
same
word you're
page.
missing in all these 13 points is transparency.
Yeah.
I think we need to express that we become very transparent, and if we need to be more transparent, they need to let us know that.
Okay. No, I think that's good. Um,
And cooperative.
yeah, and, you know.
Well,
we're-
collaborative, I mean,
Yeah.
we want to be on the same road, we don't want to be on opposite ends of the highway.
But we don't want to put all this work into something we're not gonna have city support either.
No, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
In fact, I would say that we wouldn't do it if the city doesn't support it, period.
Right,
Right, exactly.
Not even argue with them. Look, you don't want it, we don't either.
okay, yeah.
But, and then you get to recognize we get $100,000 in capital fund money that isn't gonna rehab these units ever a year.
Things I think that's happening, and Lori, you're a big influence on this. And probably if you talk to many Manisteans, it's a culture shift here. And I think that's very important. You know, it is about responsibilities, ownership, outcomes. I mean, you know, you just can't trash the place and not expect there will be outcomes. You can't be a, you know, somebody who's hostile in a neighborhood and expect that you're just gonna keep living there in one of our houses. You know, and that is something, having that balance, which you provide, of that kind of approach to, well, we'll help you, but here's what you have to do too. I mean, it's a partnership. So I really think that we have to put that in there somewhere, that we've had a really positive change in culture. I mean, people are being seen now, they're not just them anymore, and they're heard. And so I think that's moving our culture in these two buildings.
And we're gonna talk about that at a staff meeting, the customer service side of it.
Yeah.
And all that, so.
Yeah.
But I will say, and I saw her in action the other day, that you don't want to blow any smoke up her butt because she's already got your number.
That's that holding people accountable, you know, it's like, and and we know human behavior, if I can get away with it, I will.
Yeah.
But, you know, I will be responsible if it might take a while for some people, because we're changing culture, but I think we're on the right road.
And we started several 30-day termination of tenancy, and we only had to go through on one.
Yeah. So,
Cause they complain, they'll complain, come by.
I used to tell them that, you know, I can't tell you how you're going to act or what you're going to do, but if you continue to do this, you won't be living here.
well,
And
when
that generally shaped them right up.
I took over I was asked to come to a facility to change it. And as long as the staff and management didn't respect it, why would I have thought that the customers and the clients were gonna respect it?
Exactly.
You know, so once we changed that culture and got the buy-in, everything changed.
I think that the city understands what we're doing too, right? I mean, I
think
think
so.
there's some,
I think
Better-
they're
better-
nervous. I think
yeah,
they're
well, they
nervous.
should be. I
Yeah.
mean, we didn't, and I think we need to come clean about that even in this report. I mean, this project didn't turn out as it was depicted.
Yep.
And was it depicted fairly in the beginning? You know, we can go back and argue that, probably not. There were some unrealistic promises. And then combined with COVID and material shortages and all that, I think we hit the perfect wrong time to do it. So we tried to
But
make,
if that would have been expressed at the time it was happening,
yeah,
everyone could have understood it. And at that time, we could say, we're stopping, or we're gonna continue on, but we're gonna cut our wish list
Yeah.
back.
One of the things that, just from my experience when I first got on and asking questions and stuff, and again, I mean, I, very small little piece of dealing with Section 8, all that stuff. So my HUD and understandings were very minimal. But when you ask questions, and I'm sure this was, and I saw this happen at the city level too, you were, the talk was way above anything I could ever understand.
Mhm.
You know, which I love the approach that I mean, it's like, here's the information you have to have, and if you don't understand it, here's what I mean by it, you know? And I think that was a technique to keep people oblivious to what was going on.
Clinton was great at that.
Yeah, I do, and the residents felt that too. I mean, I'm not gonna ask the question because I'm gonna feel stupid that I don't need.
So
I stopped asking.
the question, let me know what you want in here. We'll start fleshing this out a little bit better, but these are the things that just came to my mind. These are only my thoughts, by the way.
Now, this is, a city council meeting, right?
Yep.
April 2nd,
15 minutes, right? We get,
Typically.
Yeah.
okay. And now we're going to present our financial statements.
Those will go in their packet ahead of time.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, they get the audit, Steve. Our audit won't be done by April 2nd.
We just have to
Oh,
submit by
okay,
August.
yeah,
right.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they're,
They like it by the end of June and I. think
Yeah,
we
'cause
can
the-
accommodate that.
yeah, because they want to include it in their financial statements. I think this is more of our, not a financial report, but a report of,
Of our ongoing.
yeah, of our activities
Right,
and
okay,
our plans.
okay.
And
And to let show our successes.
Now.
I mean, we made some
Are you
strides.
doing a big glossy?
I think we'll do a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
We'll put together a PowerPoint so we can, there's some good before and after pictures of the renovation. I mean,
Okay,
they know what we've done on the riverbank, but I mean, it's important to remind, we've kind of taken a new direction and hopefully everybody sees that.
Okay.
And I think it would be good if the chair and vice chair said a couple words too, at some point about not just staff, but I mean, you're the appointed officials too.
Mhm.
And Lori's gonna do a good job hitting all these topics and points.
So is there any
In
public
15
comment?
minutes, in 15
In
minutes.
15 minutes.
Being no public comments, I take a motion for adjournment.
To adjourn.
All in favor?
Thank you, everybody.
Motion carried.
We have personnel now.
Yeah, can we just do like 5 minutes?
Yeah, please,
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Let's just go sit on the couch over there and we just can. We'll separate ourselves so it's not a meeting.
Yeah.
Checks need signed, please. I can have 2 volunteers.
Maybe.
Well, I just signed a bunch. How many of you guys putting out over there?
Guys can sign, we'll talk. with
We're
you.
good for the economy. That's what I tell everybody.
Okay, so we have to.
We
stop
are good
The
for the economy.
recording.
Do I need one of these packets for this?
No,
Okay.
Nothing.
I'm gonna go over there and
Okay.
just let these guys be over here.
Yeah, we can't be over by you guys.
Recording has started.
Can I leave my stuff here?
You got it, huh?
Thanks.
Thank you for